Why don't you explain the importance of showing your face to the crowd the whole time?
Oh, geez.
That's something a lot of wrestlers don't do that I've noticed.
This I've heard Vince say this, and it's not just limited to him. This is where you make your money, on television, in the arena. Now, I will say, in these big arenas, 20,000 seat Madison Square Garden, everybody can't see your face. But the great workers, and there's a difference between a great wrestler and a great worker. Rulon Gardner's a great wrestler. He won the Olympic gold medal. I don't know, or didn't win the gold medal. You know what I'm saying. But I don't know whether he'd be a great worker or not. Jerry Lawler. I always give this example. Lawler had great facial expressions as a heel or a baby face, but his body language matched his facial expressions. You could be sitting in a 16,000 seat arena, and you could be in the back row, and you could look at Jerry Lawler from behind, and by the way he was standing or reacting or just taking a bump and come up, you knew what his facial expression was without him being able to see his face, because the whole body portrayed it. And that's, a lot of guys are so intent, and because all of this stuff is so complicated now, where there's this 15-phase high spots where people are trying to remember, oh shit, and I got to duck under, and he's going to come and spin in head scissors. They're doing this, the punch. The punch means nothing now. On a comeback, a punch, bam, rock the fucking guy. Jesus Christ. Now it's like boop, 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 and the guy's going, okay, now you're going to shoot me off. He's not selling a punch because he's backing up to the ropes, because now he's going to shoot me off, and he's going to go for the clothesline. I'm going to duck it. I'm going to crossbody him, and he's going to catch me. He's going to sack of shit me over like that. He's going to nip up, and when he turns around, I'll drop kick him. Fuck, just punch the motherfucker in the face. That's what people are waiting for. So this boom, 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 and this boom, boom, boom. They're standing there thinking, what am I going to do next? React to the moment. Don't get caught up in what's coming up next, because they don't know what's coming up next. They don't give a shit. If that punch don't look any good, guess what, babyface, you're sunk, because you hit like a girl. So they don't give a shit what the fuck you do after that. Body language needs to match the facial expression. They should see the face, especially on promos, especially when you take the backdrop and you come up, oh, Jesus Christ. But so many guys, once again, are so concerned about taking an artsy-fartsy, perfectly formed backdrop that when they land, they just do this. They know they got to grab their back. They're supposed to do that. They know that. And they do this, and they're looking up like, and now you got to shoot me off again. Sell the fucking backdrop. Dick Murdoch could get so much mileage out of one punch. God, he'd sell his nose. He'd take a bump. He'd do the curly shuffle around the ring. He'd come over to the manager. Check my nostril. I'm not saying the guys have to slow down the pace of, although in some cases that would be a bonus these days, because once again, as I've said before, nobody claps at a tennis game until somebody misses the ball. If you never stop running, bang, 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 bang. Okay, if I do that for 10 minutes, finally, people are going to go, fuck, is there any popcorn? It's bang, 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 boom. Wow. You got to give them a place to clap. If you just keep running, everything goes by. They don't get any reaction.
Okay. Well, we're talking about body language and showing your face and that kind of stuff. Barry Windham was a great baby face at that.
Oh.
And when do you kind of take Windham as an example and kind of explain the kind of things that he did?
Well, Barry had that glassy-eyed look and the stagger, and he was so tall, but he had amazing agility. If you pickled him, and he'd turn around and he'd be goofy, and he'd stagger to the ropes, and he'd fall over the top rope, roll off the apron, fall to the guardrail, hit his head on that, and take a bump back on the floor from one good drop kick or whatever. People went, God damn. But the whole time, if you go back and watch a lot of old tapes from a lot of old top talents, even if they were really going at a good clip, at a fast pace, their facial expression registered for a split second or whatever, what had been done to them. And the body language followed along. If it was good, I mean, there's always been bad wrestling. I don't think there's old wrestling and new wrestling. I think there's bad wrestling and good wrestling. So, if your facial expression doesn't register what's happened to you, then the people aren't going to buy it because there's no pain, or there's no happiness, or there's no, or whatever the case may be. Oh, Jesus, oh, ja," instead of "ow." That's selling. You're selling the move to someone. So once again, guys are too concerned with getting through this 7-minute exhibition of choreographed spots instead of worrying about going out telling a story to the people that they can believe, where the baby face is looking good, but the heel gets frustrated, so then he has to cheat a little bit, and then he gets him going, and now the baby face is being waltzed across Texas, and he's miserable, and he's on the verge of defeat, but they can't put him away until finally the heel goes for all or nothing, gets nothing, and the baby face has one last chance to make the comeback, and boy, when he does, goddamn, the people better be with him, and holy shit, then whatever happens from there, you've told them a story. And there's variations on that. There's a million variations, because you can't just do the same formula all the time, but you got to know when to do the variations, which is another reason why this tape is going to be confusing to a lot of people. Because he said, well, now wait a minute. He said, do that, but then he said, don't do that, but we shouldn't always do that, but we always ought to try to do that unless we do the other thing. Third base.
What are some of the things, like you mentioned the variations?